In another video, we showed you how you can create campaigns and the importance that campaigns have to indirectsales.com. Specifically, they help us manage and organize the progress, or if you like, the journey of an opportunity. The way that this is done is that workflow can be associated with campaigns. And this is the tool that actually helps us with this is the form. A workflow can be extremely simple. It's made up of 4 phases, which is qualification, analysis, preparation, and deal negotiation. And in the framework system, there are only 4 values that need to be put in place. In other words, you can base a workflow around these 4 values, which are 3 values in the qualification stage and a final win-loss status in the negotiation stage. So your workflow can be as simple as this. Alternatively, you can have a far more complicated workflow. Now, you'll notice at the top here it says this form is not finalized. It needs to be finalized before being used. Because of our obsession with data integrity, once a form has been finalized, it can't be re-edited. Otherwise, the whole analysis side of the system wouldn't work at all. So it's imperative that you get the workflow correct. Now, that would be an unreasonable burden to place on people because anyone can make mistakes and errors in setting things up. However, the way that we get around it in indirectsales.com is that we have some other tools, which we'll look at in a couple of minutes, which allow you to create form templates. Form template is, as the name suggests, it's the pattern of a form. So I'm going to load a Scotsman type template using Scotsman type work questions into our form here. And as you can see, we've got a series of what are called custom questions. Each question has a statement line and it has an outcome or an answer. Each of the answers has a value associated with it. So here's some typical Scotsman type stuff. Have we got meaningful contact data? What's the level of interest in our products? And what would the buyer's role be in a purchase decision? Now, these 3 questions we've linked into the qualification phase. When we come to deal analysis phase, we have a whole series more questions which complete the whole of the Scotsman scenario. And that allows us to make a full evaluation based on the Scotsman system. But let's suppose that we wanted to put in some more mundane type of questions in there. Questions which might seem to be fairly run-of-the-mill, but actually are important to the sales process. So, for example, at the deal analysis phase, what we might want to know is whether the customer has seen a demonstration of the product, or whether the customer is aware of our terms and conditions. So the way that we would do this is that we click on the button there that says custom questions. Now what that will do is that will create a blank template at the bottom of my list here. And here we go. So we can type in our question is a customer aware of our T's and C's? And what we can do is we can put in an answer, and our first answer will be no. And what I can then do is give this value a score. And in this case, I'm going to say my score for this value is 0. If I press enter, I can then put in a second value, and in this case, I'm going to type in yes. And I'll make the score for this 1. So now I have created my 2 answers. What this now means is that when a customer goes through this exercise, after all the other questions, he will be asked the question, is the customer aware of our terms and conditions? The number beside the answer allows us to evaluate the responses that we get to the questionnaire, and this gives us the potential to objectively score a sale. In order that I can now go ahead and view the way the thing is set up, if I come up here and I press on the preview button, you can now see how the customers will see the system as he's going through the process. So he will see this. I think this is a way the question will look. Is the customer aware of our terms and conditions? He can answer yes or no. If I save this, if I can save this record, or if I choose to finalize it, it means that this workflow can now be used with leads or with deals. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Thank you.